And welcome back. 4:45 on your Wednesday, the first official day of summer. It officially gets here at 9:58 Central Time. Now, fortunately, temperatures are not going to be as hot today as they have been. Now, it's still going to be plenty warm and humid, and it's still technically going to be hot, I think. But we don't have a heat advisory. We don't have a heat warning, so not a bad way to kick off the first day of summer. It's in the 70s, a little bit lower than we have been, but it did come at a cost. That big storms, or those big storms we saw yesterday, brought in some rain, cold air in the evening, helped cool us off just a little bit. Now, as you get out the door this morning, we don't have any big issues. We don't have any heavy rain yet. I do think that will change as we go through the late morning and the afternoon. We'll be watching for scattered storms, especially here on the South Shore. So like yesterday, a lot of the storms will be on the South Shore. We could still see a few on the North Shore, though, so we'll watch that. And your temperatures with more rain around upper 80s to low 90s, so not as hot as we have been. Therefore, no heat advisory or heat warning. Like the past couple of days, if you get a storm, heavy rain is given, but also some hail and gusty winds are possible. Now, what has been going on? This pattern has been wild, where we've got our big ridge over Texas. This is where the intense heat is, and we're wedged in between a ridge and an upper level low, and we've got the storms coming down to the south. So that's what's happened the past couple of days. That ridge is weakened just slightly, and it's allowed storms to form easier across the area. And that'll be the case really for the next several days. We'll have multiple rounds of storms developing. Notice storms form to the north, move to the south, storms form near the coast. A lot of storms down here in Louisiana as we go through the next couple of days or so. Now, eventually that high pressure is going to start to grow stronger again and build towards us. That's when our rain chances go down into early next week. So for the next several days, we'll have scattered storms around during the afternoon and even some evening hours. And then as we get into the weekend, and especially next week, we crank the heat back up. We're not done with the really intense heat. We'll be in the mid to upper 90s by early next week. Heat index values will be back up to about 110. So we'll likely have the heat advisories and the heat warnings back in the forecast into next week. For the next couple days with more rain, we'll be in the low 90s. That's what's happening locally. Now, we're not worried about the tropics locally, but we are tracking some activity out here. BRET is up to a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm, and Invest 93 trailing behind BRET. So you can see these well out here in the Atlantic and the main development region. Now, BRET is moving west at about 16 miles an hour. It's going to continue to move towards the Caribbean here. You can see the latest track as of 4 a.m. taking it into the Caribbean. It'll be near the islands by Thursday and Friday as a strong tropical storm. And then as it enters the Caribbean, wind shear really picks up on this thing, should shred it, and there shouldn't be much left of BRET as we get into this weekend by around Sunday. So we're not anticipating this to blow up in anything big once it enters the Caribbean. We call this the graveyard for a reason this time of year. Storms enter the Caribbean, and the shear does its work. So that's some good news there. But for the Caribbean islands, if you're traveling that way later this week, could be quite squally. That's what's going on with BRET. It's riding around this ridge. Now, Invest 93 will probably become a depression or a storm maybe today or coming in the next couple days. Its track is not going to be the exact same. Now, it's going to travel to the west here for a couple more days. But as we get into the weekend, this ridge weakens, builds off to the west, trough comes down. That should pick up whatever Invest 93 is and take it out into the Atlantic. Now, of course, that's a long ways out. We'll watch it, but right now, neither one of these look like they're going to be a threat to the United States. Next name after BRET, by the way, is Cindy. So we are to at least BRET, but Cindy could be forming out there behind BRET. Leave you with your 7-day forecast. It is going to stay warm and muggy the next couple of days with those scattered storms. We'll keep an eye on the hail threat and the wind threat, along with any locally heavy rain. These storms don't have a whole lot of movement to them. And then as we get into the weekend and early next week, we start to see our rain chances drop. But look at our temperatures, the mid to upper 90s returning by early next week.